Okay guys, welcome to this video. Today we're going to be talking about shooting balloons, and we're actually down here at the Bristol International Balloon Fiesta, so it's a fantastic opportunity to get some balloons, but don't worry about doing that, because if you come down to a fiesta like this, you probably won't get the access where I've got inside the arena. You'll probably have to stand out over there where all the crowds are. We've got crowds either side watching in, and over the other side as well you can actually see there is lots and lots of people over here at the fiesta, all busily watching the balloons go up. But there are literally hundreds of sites around the UK where you can actually watch the balloons from, and you can actually see. So Virgin, for example, if you go to their website, you'll see they've got over 100 launch locations around the UK, so you get to actually see those launch sites, and you can go and watch the balloons up close and get some photos. So what we're aiming to do today is going to work with a couple of teams that are down here, get some real good close-up action, and then we're actually going to try and work again with some wider shots once all the balloons take up. We're looking at around about 100 balloons today taking off, so there's a lot for us to capture. So what should you be looking at in terms of equipment? Well, I've got a basic SLR camera here. We're going to use a couple of different lenses, but you could get away with one zoom lens that would go from a wide to a sort of zoomed in, because we've got different opportunities to look for. So I'm going to be using the wide lens. I've got a 10 to 20mm here on this 60D Canon. And we're going to actually be using that to get the big wider shots of the balloons, because you know they might be 100 feet high once they're actually inflated, and we're going to be pretty close, so we're going to get all that in. We might actually switch to a zoom lens though once they start taking off, so we can actually go up into the sky and capture those as well. Okay, a few things you need to think about when balloons. First one is safety. I'm working with a couple of teams here, so I've already had permission to get in close, but you can get quite close to balloons without worrying about it too much, but always check with the pilots first if you're going to be doing stuff like that, and if you're going to be getting too close to them. In terms of settings, I'm actually going to be running on aperture priority today, mainly because the conditions are going to be changing quite a lot. The light not only changing around here, but also when they're inflating and the flames going up, that's going to change the lighting conditions quite quickly. I will obviously keep an eye on the images though, and if I have to, I'll use a little bit of exposure compensation on the back of the camera to get the shots right. Okay, so let's go and meet one of the teams.
Okay, so we've loaded these images into Lightroom and had a little play with them. And I thought I'd actually include quite a lot of the images, whether they were good or bad, just so you can see the effect we're having. So this was inside Poly Wallet balloon. I do like getting the inside of balloons when I'm actually shooting them if I can, although it was very busy down there, so I didn't really have a lot of time to capture this. Sometimes I've actually been allowed inside the balloon and shot that way. The strap on this one's a little bit distracting, and had I had more time and was playing around with it, I would have probably pulled that over to one side or got one of the guys holding the balloon to do that, but couldn't really do that on this occasion. But it really does give you a different outlook in terms of ballooning and the colours inside. And every balloon will be completely different as well, so always worth having a look if you can, but like I did, check with the pilot before you do it. This is one of the shots I usually like to try and get, and that's the fire, the flames as it shoots into the balloon with the hot air. It kept a really low angle on this one because, as you can see from Darwin, who's in the picture there with the burner, his head, if I was standing upright, would be completely blocked by the bars on the balloon basket there. So with this shot, I knew he was going to be crouched down like that in that particular position, so it's a case of really getting down low. In this type of shot, it's usually a case of taking lots of photos, because you'll get lots where you don't see the flame, you get others where you see the flame just sort of almost dancing. So it is a case of taking lots of different shots when you're trying to get this and trying to capture it, and trying not to get the light actually fooled by the flame of the burner. And you can see there's one where the flame's not going but it's dancing, and as you can see from this shot, things move very quickly as well. So from inflation to actually going up, the basket will start rising quite quickly until they've actually got it in an upright position. Which is the sequence you go through here, and if you looked on the video you'll see them, they were rushing in, trying to struggle because the wind also caught the balloon and was pushing it over towards the red balloon behind us there. The other thing to do is always be looking around as well, just because the action's going on there, so it's always good to look up, check around you, see what else is going on. These here where actually the balloons were then fighting for space with the Purple Rain balloon to the right hand side as well, and see what else is going on around you. So in this particular situation there was lots of balloons taken off, over 100 of them actually took off on this occasion, so there's a lot going on, a lot to be looking around for and keeping your eye open. The thing with the balloons is once they actually do inflate, they don't usually take off straight away, they usually like to build up the buoyancy with inside the envelope. So you've usually got a bit of time to have a look around, see what else is going on around you as they're doing their final checks. This one I quite like the shot in terms of the action and the busyness going on, although as you can see the pilot there is moving around a bit, so it's not a perfect shot in my mind, and again the light was a little bit tricky with the brightness of the crowds behind and that as well. But as I said, do look around you. This was immediately behind us, so the Purple Rain team, there's Paul with his balloon and getting ready for taking off. But I kept this because although Paul's moving and so therefore blurred in the shot, I just love the capture of the flame, and I did a couple of those. I just love the sort of the fire coming out, and that's what I liked about them, even though the rest of it I think just adds that sort of action blurriness to it. Again, these are all taken in order, so the poly balloon is still inflating at the moment and still getting ready. I glanced across and the Union Jack one's moved across now, and Bristol balloon's one of the famous ones over where I am in the skies there. And again, getting ready for takeoff, so they're doing the final checks, and it's just a nice action shot that I thought I'd grab of Darwin. And then he's doing his final bits, and even though we don't see his face on there, the focus is on the flame coming out of that burner. I think it's really dramatic. And don't forget to get close-up shots as well. Balloons are very good to get wider shots, but it's nice to actually get in. This particular balloon I love because of the elephant on there, so it's great to actually get in and get the details. And it's a great thing about balloons is they are very colourful, and you do get a lot of details on them, so don't forget to do that. Don't just go for the wide shots. And there they go, they're on liftoff. So again, they're always going to be using a lot of gas and a lot of burn on liftoff, so there's plenty of opportunities. And if you can as well, you can actually get the balloons glowing sometimes in the darker nights and that sort of thing. And I just grabbed this one really because I know both pilots out of these balloons, so you know, it was a personal shot that I liked, both Poly Wallets and Purple Rain. And then finally a portrait really of the balloon in terms of it flying, which is always nice to have. And there you can see from the amount of balloons going off over there that the skies were absolutely filled with them. And this was probably one of about 10 different shots I got, and I framed it differently every time. And I think this is the one that just worked best for me. I didn't want too much distracting below it, but it just really gives a sense of the amount of balloons going off, the scale of them, the size of them, the colours. I do like that, and particularly in this particular shot, which I didn't get in any others, I had both the Union Jack and the Bath Building Society balloon were both glowing at the same time, so I think that just adds that dramaticness to it. The ones further afield you probably won't see whether they're glowing or not, but that one just really caught it, I think, and that's why I like that particular shot. And then this was the final grab shot a little bit later on, funny enough, as this is down by their fun fair, and I just happened to look up and see this little character who's on top of a fun fair ride pointing up to the sky, and the Fowler's motorcycle balloon was going overhead. So again, you know, always be aware for shots. There's always ones to be looking out for in terms of getting good photos. And okay, it might not be a fun fair, it might be trees around, it might be what the balloons are doing, any other things that happen to be around. So always be on the lookout for good shots. So there you go, and that takes us back to the beginning again. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope it gave you some help. Do get out there and have some fun, but always remember to be safe as well. Have a chat with the pilots. Most of them don't mind you taking photos, and I actually got into ballooning photos purely by offering the pilots copies of the photos. So it's always a good thing to go and have a chat with the pilots, get to know them a little bit, go back several times, get lots of photos, and have fun really. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please do leave a comment. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Please write in the comments below. If you like the video, please do click on like, that always helps us. And if you haven't already, click on subscribe and you'll get updates of any more videos as and when they come up. So thanks for watching.